Hello everyone, welcome back to the Doors Poly Academy's YouTube channel. So we are here with another class. So let's start today's class. So at first we will read the passage. So the passage is: Once upon a time, I went for a week's holiday in the continent with an Indian friend. So once upon a time, the writer of this passage and his friend, Indian friend, went for a week's holiday in the continent. So, what is holiday? Holiday is a period of leisure and recreation. And the meaning of continent. The meaning of continent is a large continuous mass of land conventionally regarded as a collective region. So, once upon a time, the narrator and his friend, Indian friend, went for a week's holiday in the continent. Next line. We both enjoyed ourselves and were sorry when the week was over, but our behavior on partying, our behavior was absolutely different. So the narrator, so the writer and his friends enjoyed themselves and in the continent and were sorry when the week was over. But on their partying, their behavior was absolutely different. So, what is the meaning of partying? So, the meaning of partying is the action of leaving or being separated. So, the partying means the action of leaving or being separated. So, the uh, writer and his Indian friend parted when the week was over, and their behavior was absolutely different. He was plunged in despair. He means the Indian friend was plunged in despair. What is the meaning of plunged and despair? The meaning of plunged is he was full of sadness. Despair means complete loss or absence of hope. So he was hopeless. The Indian friend was hopeless, or he was full of sadness. He felt that because the holiday was over, all happiness was over until the world ended. So the Indian friend felt that because the holiday was over, all happiness was over until the world ended. Because the Indian friend and the writer spent their whole weekend in happiness, and when they were partying, he felt that the world is going to end. Next, he could not express his sorrow too much, but in the Englishman come came out strong. So he could not express his sorrow too much. So the Indian friend cannot express his sorrow too much, but the writer has Englishman in himself, and it came out strong because he was not showing his sadness. I could not see what there was to make a fuss about. And the writer or the Englishman thinking that there is nothing to make a fuss about. So, what is the meaning of fuss? Means worry about something that is not important. So, fuss means worry about something which is not that much important. It was not as if we were parting forever or dying. So the Englishman is thinking that it was not as we are parting for forever or we are dying. So there is nothing to worry about, or nothing to be sad about it. Buck up, I said. Do buck up. So the Englishman said to his Indian friend, buck up. I said, do buck up. So what is the meaning of buck up? Buck up means cheerful. So he cheered his Indian friend that be cheerful. It is not our last meeting, or we are not uh, partying for forever. He refused to buck up, and I left him plunged in gloom. So the Indian friend refused to buck up, and he was in sadness, and the English man left him that left in their left in left him plunged in the gloom. So in this passage we learn that how the Indian friend and English friend had feelings for themselves, or how, what is the difference between the what is difference in them. Like Indian friend is very too much attached to that Englishman, but Englishman is not attached with that Indian friend because their culture or their behavior is different. So the passage is done. Now we will see the questions. So the first question is, what is the continent in the text of the passage? So in this passage we learn about continent. So what was the continent? Options are an island, the countryside, African safari, Europe. So the correct answer is option number 3, African safari, because continent, Africa is a continent. So African safari is in Africa. So the continent means the Africa continent. Next, what does the author mean by buck up? So here, what is the meaning of buck up? Options are buckle yourself up, stand up, cheer up, or shut up. So buck up means option number 3, cheer up. Next question. Why was the Indian friend plunged in despair? So why was the Indian friend was plunged in despair? Options are he was hopeless, he experienced racial discrimination, he would never feel so happy again, he had spent a lot of money. So he was plunged in despair. The Indian friend was plunged in despair because he was hopeless. And why he was hopeless? Because his friend, the Englishman, and the Indian friend was partying each other in the weekend. Next, what does not imply the Englishman came out strong? So what does not imply the Englishman came out strong? Options are was he was strong in mind, he could not suppress emotions, or he could suppress emotion, he had no feelings, please the Englishman. So the Englishman came out strong because he could suppress emotion. When someone is strong, that means he is suppressing his emotions, he is not showing his emotions to others. So the number 2 is the correct answer. Next, what is the author's intention behind the passage? So what was the author's intention in this passage? Options are to reflect an Indian sorrowful character, to reflect the typical English character, to describe Indian traditions, to ridicule the English man. So the correct answer is option number 1, to reflect an Indian's sorrowful character. So all the questions are done. Now we will see what other questions can be asked from the passage. So the first question is, the narrator went for a week's holiday in a continent with whom? So the answer is, once upon a time, the narrator went for a week's holiday in the continent with an Indian friend. Next question. How did the Indian friend feel after the holiday ended? So, when the holiday ended, the Indian friend was plunged in despair. Next question. What was the narrator's reaction to the end of the holiday? So, the narrator's reaction in the end of the holiday was, the Englishman came out strong. I could not see what there was to make a fuss about it. So he thought that there is nothing to make a fuss about when the uh, holiday was ended. Next, what last question, what does the passage mainly highlight? So, what does the passage mainly highlight? So, the passage highlights a so the passage highlights a cultural difference between the English man and a Indian man. So, in this passage, we learn the cultural difference in Indian friend and a English man. So now all the questions are done. Now we will see some synonym and antonyms of words. Write down the an antonym of these words. So the first word is despair, and the synonym of despair is hopelessness or pain. So the synonym of despair is hopelessness or pain, and the antonym of despair is hope or joy. The next is happiness. So the next word is happiness. And what are the synonym of happiness? So the synonym of happiness is pleasure or satisfaction. So these are the synonyms of happiness. And what are the antonyms of happiness? So the antonyms are sadness or unhappiness. So these are the antonyms of happiness. Next word is sorrow. So the synonym of sorrow is misery or sadness. So these are the synonym of sorrow, misery or sadness. Now the antonyms of sorrow. So the antonyms are joy or rejoice. These are the antonyms of sorrow. Next word is parting. It's not the so the parting means not you are having party. So parting is when you are separated from someone. So the synonym of parting is farewell or goodbye. Synonym of parting is farewell or goodbye, and the antonym of parting is meet or arrive. These are the antonym of parting. Next word is refused. Refused. And the synonym of refused is denied or rejected. So the refused synonym is denied or rejected. And the antonym of refused is allowed or granted. So the antonym of refused is allowed or granted. Now The last word is gloom. What is the synonym of gloom? The synonym are darkness or depression. These are the synonym of gloom. What are the antonym of gloom? So the antonym are light or happiness. These are the antonyms of gloom. So write down these antonyms and synonyms of the words and read these words carefully, which may ask in your exams. So this is it for today's class. Hope you like this class. If you like our class, then do like, share, subscribe to the Doers Warrior Academy's YouTube channel. And if you want to join us and want to purchase our online courses, then contact us in the given number. Our Doers Warrior Academy app is also available in the Play Store. If you join us, then you will get in this app live classes, free PDFs, free mock tests, and recorded classes. If you want to pass the Navodaya interest exam, then do contact us and join the courses, and you can also inform your friends about the courses. We will meet you in the next class. Thank you.